Hey, Assalamualaikum. The buffering of the insulin will ultimately spike the growth hormone. So how it is possible? Basically, let's understand about that. Whenever the insulin buffers, so the growth hormone will spike. How it is possible? Basically, the insulin and the growth hormone both are the anabolic, and whenever the growth hormone will spike, the insulin should be down regulate. While whenever the growth hormone will down regulate, the insulin should be spiked. So that is what. But the function is very different for growth hormone and the insulin. First we will discuss about the growth hormone. So the growth hormone is also anabolic, but it is important for the osteogenesis. Osteogenesis means the bone formation, the bone health and rigidity of the bone. While on the other hand also it is important for the proteogenesis, the synthesis of the protein of the muscle. And other type of the body, for example the digestive system, repairman and a lot more things. So I hope you make sense about that. In this way, basically the growth hormone will spike, will lead to anabolism. But the insulin also anabolic, but insulin is the storage formation, like the glucose stored in the cell in the form of glycogen, and the glucose will store in the fat cell in the form of fat. So that is known as the lipogenesis. Lipo means the fat, genesis means the formation. So in this way, basically, our adipose tissue store the glucose in the form of fat due to the spike of the insulin, while also the muscle store the glycogen in the form of the sugar. Sugar will convert into the glycogen when the insulin will spike. So the glucose will enter from blood into the tissue, like muscle or the adipose tissue in the form of formation of the fat. So this is the growth of the fat will increase the basically the our production of the fat cell, the proliferation of the adipose tissue, which that basically lead to increase the obesity, and in this way that is why due to the insulin spike. So insulin spike factor is the refined sugar, ice cream, soda water, which does contain sugar. On the other hand, the carbohydrate, even the complex carbohydrate, as well as the bunch of the protein. Basically, the different type of protein also contain whey powder, casein powder, or milk, which does contain lactose. So anyhow, this all sugar will spike the insulin, and in this way, whenever this insulin will spike, will lead to ultimately decline the growth hormone. Chronically eating also spike the insulin while buffer the growth hormone. Growth hormone is very important hormone which that trigger the muscle growth, while not it is used for the deposition, but it is used for the muscle growth and increase the insulin like growth factor 1, which that is look like insulin, but it is the function is different. Basically insulin like growth factor 1 is also important for the glycogenesis in the liver, but it is also important for the bone strength as well as the lipolysis. Lipo means the fat, lysis means the breakdown. In this, the breakdown of the fat is due to the insulin like growth factor 1, due to the spike from growth hormone, while growth hormone itself also target to the adipose tissue, and glucagon also target to the adipose tissue whenever the insulin will buffer. But we will understand about the buffering of the insulin, what is the factor of the buffering of insulin. And we will also understand about what is the factor of the spike of the growth hormone. Anyhow, basically the insulin when buffered, so the glucagon will release, which that target to the adipose tissue first to lipolysis. In this, the breakdown of the fat will occur, and that breakdown of the fat will provide the energy to the muscle whenever will go into the blood circulatory system, provide the energy where the muscle is going to injure, going to basically work. So during the gym time, whenever you will work out, so the burning of the fat will occur by this mechanism, because the fat will provide the beta oxidation to produce more ATP, and that ATP is used for the contraction and relaxation of the muscle. So mostly relaxation. So anyhow, a lot more factor which that is important, but in this way you can understand. But on the other hand, the growth hormone will spike, will lead to anabolism, and it should be spiked during the sleep, during the exercise, or during the rest time. So the growth hormone spike factor is the insulin buffering. So the insulin buffering factor is the ketogenic diet, number 1. Number 2 is the fasting. You should fast 16 to 15 hours, which that is important, and no snacking. In this way, the ketogenic diet and fasting help to buffer the insulin while spike the growth hormone. Ketogenic diet contains low carb, even the minor carb, while the low protein and the high fat, which that ultimately buffer the insulin. While on the other hand, important things you should need to understand that fasting also buffer the insulin ultimately, and in this way the spike of the growth hormone. But the duration is important. For example, the long duration, so the breakdown of the protein will trigger, but you should get the duration like that. 1 day or 2 day fasting is good, but the prolonged fasting is not good. Because you should eat also for realize your body, and in this way your body will store the protein and a lot more things for growth of the muscle. So number 3 is the exercise, fasting, ketogenic diet and exercise. Exercise will lead to trigger the breakdown of the muscle fiber, and in this way the again recovery requires the growth hormone. In this way the growth hormone will produce more, and in this way growth hormone will buffer insulin. While on the other hand, the low caloric diet, it also buffer the insulin while spike the growth hormone. But important thing you should need to understand: no snacking, no sweet, no any sugary material. You should consume consumption. Don't consume any sugary material. In this way, you can spike the growth hormone. While on the other hand, the sleep, which that is the mimicry of the fasting. Whenever you will go to the sleep, so in this way you will not eat anything. In this way, you will spike the growth hormone due to the insulin buffer. Because insulin buffer directly linked with the no eating and stop eating. Fasting buffer the insulin. While the second one is the ketogenic diet and exercise, as well as caloric restriction. With the passage of time, basically you should increase this caloric restriction will lead to decrease the insulin spike, and in this way the insulin will buffer. In this way ultimately you will grow your muscle, bones, skin, hairs, everything, stamina, endurance, strength, everything you will build, and you will prevent the osteoporosis, arthritis, joint pain, and the liver problem. On the other hand, the dementia, brain fog. On the other hand, the nervous system problem, neurodegeneration prevention, and the fat will lose while grow your muscle, and you will become a whole healthy person. I hope you make sense about that. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video for this time. Bye. Allah Hafiz.